Yeah, so a little bit about myself. My name is Adza Mould, Herman Adza Mould. I'm half Ghanaian, half Irish. My mother's Irish. I was born in Ghana, did my high school in Ghana, in West Africa. And I came to Britain just before I was 19 years old, came to Britain into self-imposed exile because there had been a revolution in my country and the military had taken over and it was going south. So I came into exile. All my life, I had religion as a hum in the background of my life, but not at the forefront of anything I was doing. But it was always there, you know, and always believed in God. But there was a lot of problems in the society I grew up in. It was just after colonialism had come to an end in most parts of the world. Ghana had just become independent in 1957. I was born in 1960. And but we got caught up in the middle of a Cold War between East and West, and Africa tended to be like in the middle. You had to choose one side or both sides or try to balance the two. So that's the kind of background I was growing up in, military coups d'etats and things going on. So I always thought that we really need to sort out society, do something about society to make it more just and fairer to most people, to everybody. So in that regard, I got involved in politics, student politics. And so when the revolution, so-called revolution happened in '79, I had to leave. And I found myself stuck in exile with one of the revolutionaries who had taken over power in Ghana in 1979. So I worked with him for a while, and through him, I could meet our movement. Of course, when I came here, I continued as I was doing. I was involved in anti-apartheid movement in Britain, working with people from South Africa to try and bring an end to apartheid and campaigning for Mandela to be released and things like that. So always active to try and change the world in some form, you know, idealistic in a way. So through that and Causa, I could meet the movement. And then I decided I had been working on a very small level, Africa, and to transform it to a global level, I thought, join this movement. So I was only at the time 26 when I met the movement. Totally had to change my life, everything I was doing. And like most of your parents, you probably have heard from them, they gave everything up to go and save the world. So I quit university. Actually, I came back from a 21-day workshop to a lecture on national economics. They were talking about inflation. Inflation is 8% in Britain today. And we were talking about inflation, and I thought, hang on, the Messiah is on earth. So what am I doing in this course? So that was my last university course, and I walked out. Of course, my parents couldn't understand. Parents never do they? We don't understand our children. But I wanted to save the world, really. I really felt this was the movement to do it. So like most of your parents, we gave everything up to go on this course. Looking back, it's really weird and a crazy thing to do. But at the time, it felt the most logical thing to do. By that time, I already had a family. I was already married before I met the church. I had the daughter, Veronica, what you call a Jacob child. I don't know what that means, but anyway, you can DM me if you know what it means. But anyway, that didn't work out. That marriage didn't work out because I was young and inexperienced and stupid. So anyway, I got matched and blessed with my current wife from Thailand, and we have 4 children: Carmel, Achan, Inshan, and Sersha. So growing up in the church, not growing up, when I was in full-time in the church, MFT and things like that, we saw a few blessed children around and never thought much of them, except that they were like special people that, you know, when you study the principle and you see how there's God as the origin, the 4-position foundation, God and the husband and wife and the children, and society comes out of that from the children and it expands to the tribe and everything. So that's, you know, seeing that ideal in the Four Position Foundation, and then seeing the blessed children who are coming out of this ideal, yeah, we kind of unconsciously saw them as some kind of super people coming as God's answer to all the problems of the world. I didn't encounter much with them because being full-time on MFT, you don't see the families so much. You're once in a while, you're in the center, and then you disappear again. So, but we kind of in the back of our minds, like for me anyway, it was like, these guys will save the world, right? then I was blessed, and then I had my blessed children as well. And I realized that they were just normal kids, right? Normal children. But of course, we still felt that our children had special qualities to bring to the world. And I guess all of this puts a lot of pressure on our children, you know, being viewed like this, like you're some kind of solution to God's eternal problem, the eternal problem of humankind, that you're a solution to that. It must put enormous pressure. I can't even imagine what it is, what that can feel like. But also on my own children, I felt that I often couldn't understand why they were like normal, why they were not super normal and always in line with God's vertical standard. And it's really unwise of me, you know, to have that kind of concept or idea in the back of my mind. Gradually, I've come to realize that, well, of course, children are children and people are people. And even though you have some special relationship with God, you still have unique and dissimilar qualities. You know, if you think about it, it's only about less than a fraction of 1% of people in the world actually met true parents or met the principle and could study the principle and follow this path. And likewise, with our children, why would we feel that 100% of our children will follow this path? You know, they're just like everybody else. They have different qualities. And being mainly a religion or a church, the focal point of a church may be not what you feel, what everybody feels, that they're going to be a priest or some kind of server in a church. People have different, like, who was it who's working for BMW? You know, if you feel like you're called to work for BMW and not for the church, does that mean that you have less value than somebody who is working in the church? I don't think so. I think God wants to restore the whole world, not just a church. Yeah. So what is our church for? Is it to be a successful church or to bring the kingdom of heaven on earth? It's things we have to think about. Also, with our children, with such expectations that some of us may have had of our children, and then when you see the reality, what I call the Busan paradox, you know, when True Father was in Busan in the hut, just after the tail end of the Korean War, with just a cardboard hut and teaching people that he was going to change the world, people must have looked at him like, you're crazy, you know, it's never going to work. You never can do that. But if you think our children also would look at us and say, you really want to change the world, and this is you, this is where you're at, you know, I mean, you gave up everything and you're at zero and you're still saying you're building the kingdom of heaven. Our children must have felt kind of, these are weird parents, you know, that. So that's why I say it's the Busan paradox. You know, you look at where you are in reality and the vision that you have is so grandiose that you cannot match the two together. So that must cause another kind of struggle within the young people, thinking our parents are, you know, not all there, you know. But if I could do it all again, I'll probably do the same, because I really believe that the divine principle has an answer to most of the world's problems, fundamental problems. And without resolving the root problem of humankind, we cannot actually build a kingdom of heaven. We cannot solve other problems without solving this root problem. But it's not the only problem. And people can relate in different parts of life, of culture, science, in all aspects of life to build the kingdom of heaven. So what am I saying? Do we have a clear vision about where we are going to, what we're actually trying to do in our movement? Do you know what that vision is? Do you connect yourself to that vision? Do you see how you can contribute to that vision? If your vision is not in the church, do you see that you have value in what you're doing in life that you can, oh yeah, thank you. Do you see that you have value in what you're doing in other aspects of life that contribute to building an ideal world? So do you feel that what you bring has value, and is it valued in our movement? And yeah, if there's anything to change in our movement that will make you more valued, or you think you can bring something to contribute in our movement by changing yourself, what would that be? So those are kind of things I'd like us to think about. What is the vision? Do you have a clear vision of what the movement is and is trying to accomplish? How do you see yourself as contributing in some way to the vision? So what is it? Is it kingdom of heaven? How will we accomplish that? And do you feel your contribution is valued, or has value for that matter? So yeah, I think I'm not trying to put any pressure on you, because I've come to the point where I feel that everybody has unique, well, of course it is, everybody has unique value, but I've come to realize that in a fundamental way that nothing anybody's doing in whatever field is less than what somebody on the stage is doing. It cannot be fulfilled. Well, Cain can never come without Abel, and vice versa. Abel can't come without Cain. It all has to fit together, or nothing works. So it's all or nothing. So everybody has something to contribute. And I think the quicker we appreciate the value that other people bring, the better it can be for people, because people want to contribute something. If they don't feel valued, then they just walk away, isn't it? So there's something to think about. And I hope I wasn't all over the place, because I am all over the place usually. So please think about these things, and let's have 40 minutes to discuss in breakout groups. For those who can, I know some are at work and can't contribute, but as best we can, let's discuss this. And okay, are we cool?
Yeah. Thank you, Adza. Really appreciate it. Yeah, if you can turn your cameras on, we're about to have 40 minutes of discussions, and please participate. Don't be quiet. Try and explore this topic as much as you can. And thank you so much, Adza. Sorry, that's a really loving message.